Parallel universe, do we have another copy of ourselves? It started with a signal, a faint rhythmic pulse buried deep in the cosmic noise, whispering from the edge of the observable universe. Dr. Elias Carter, astrophysicist at the Lunar Research Station, had been scanning the void for anomalies when he found it. A pattern too structured to be natural, too precise to be random. At first he thought it was a mistake, a glitch in the system, interference from some distant quasar. But when he refined the data, isolating the signal from cosmic background radiation, he felt something deep in his gut shift. It wasn't a mistake. Someone, or something, was transmitting a message from beyond the known universe. The station's AI, Astra, processed the waveform and converted it into visual data. What emerged on the screen was impossible. It was an image of Earth, but not as it was, as it had been. A perfect snapshot of the planet from millions of years ago, continents in unfamiliar formations, oceans stretching where deserts should be. It was as if someone had taken a photograph of a version of Earth that had never existed in recorded history. Elias stared at the image for hours, his mind unraveling the implications. If this was a signal from another civilization, it meant they had been watching for eons. But how? The distance alone meant that whatever had sent this image had done so before humanity even evolved. And then the message changed. Astra detected another layer hidden within the transmission, a pulse embedded beneath the surface, like a voice whispering through static. When she decoded it, the result was a string of coordinates, a location in deep space. Elias had always prided himself on his rational mind. He didn't believe in superstition and paranoia, but something about this felt wrong. Like a whisper at the back of his skull, an itch he couldn't scratch. The coordinates pointed to a region of space known as the Veil, a vast expanse of nothingness where no stars shone, no planets orbited, a cosmic dead zone. No known object existed there, no reason for any signal to originate from it. And yet, the data was undeniable. He submitted his findings to the United Earth Space Agency. Bureaucracy moved slowly, but this moved fast. Within days, a mission was approved. The Daedalus, a prototype deep space vessel designed for interdimensional research, was chosen for the expedition. Elias was assigned as lead scientist, alongside a crew of 6. Commander Harris, a hardened veteran of interstellar travel, Dr. Lang, a quantum physicist specializing in parallel dimensions, Rourke, the ship's engineer, Vasquez, a communications specialist, Dr. Choi, a xenobiologist, and Holden, the AI systems technician. Their mission was simple: find the source of the signal, confirm whether it was artificial or a natural anomaly, report their findings, and return. The Daedalus departed under the cold eye of the lunar observatory, slicing through the void with precision. The trip would take weeks, even at near light speed. During that time, Elias obsessed over the data. As they neared the coordinates, the signal grew stronger, more defined, and stranger. It was no longer just an image or coordinates. It was sound. A low, droning hum, layered with something beneath it, something almost like breathing. Then came the voices, whispers over the ship's comm system. At first, they dismissed it as interference, but then Vasquez heard her own voice whispering from the static, saying words she had never spoken. Then Choi heard his mother's voice, though she had died years ago. The closer they got, the worse it became. Shadows moved where there should be none. The temperature fluctuated without reason. The crew reported vivid dreams of places they had never been. Cities of impossible architecture, skies of swirling darkness. Elias dreamed of another Earth, a twin to his own. But it was wrong. Skyscrapers twisted at impossible angles, the oceans reflecting a sky devoid of stars. And standing on the shore, looking back at him, was himself. When he woke, his nose was bleeding. Then, the Daedalus reached the coordinates and found nothing. No planet, no station, no sign of any source for the transmission. Only a vast, gaping void. But the signal was deafening now, reverberating through the ship's systems, causing electrical surges, flickering the lights. Astra reported a spatial distortion, a rupture in reality itself pulsing just beyond their view. A tear in the fabric of the universe. Commander Harris ordered the probe deployed. It drifted into the void, its sensors scanning the anomaly. The feed came back garbled at first, but then it cleared. What they saw made no sense. The probe was floating above a planet, Earth, but not their Earth. It was identical in every way: oceans, continents, cities shining in the dark. And yet, something was wrong. The lights in the cities blinked in strange patterns, like signals. The clouds spiraled unnaturally, as if moved by unseen hands. Then, the feed cut out. Elias checked the data. The readings showed something impossible. The probe had not moved. It was still in the void, but it was also somewhere else. Lang muttered about quantum superposition, about two realities overlapping. The anomaly wasn't just a tear in space. It was a bridge, a connection to another version of their universe, a parallel Earth. Then, the ship's alarms blared. Something was coming through. The tear in space moved. A shifting wound in reality that twisted and buckled, and something stepped out. It was human. No, it looked human. A man, wearing a USA uniform identical to theirs, but his face, Elias recognized him. It was him. The other Elias stared at him, eyes empty, mouth slightly open as if in shock. Then he spoke, but his voice was distorted, layered over itself 1,000 times. "You should not have come." Then the lights failed. Darkness swallowed the ship. Screams echoed through the halls. Something moved in the dark. The ship's emergency lights flickered back on, revealing carnage. Harris was gone. No trace of him. Lang was slumped against the console, eyes wide, blood dripping from his ears. The other Elias was still there, standing in the doorway. His mouth moved, but the words did not belong to any language known to mankind. The signal surged, deafening. It was never a message. It was a warning. They had found the bridge, and now something was crossing it. Reality collapsed. Elias saw visions of infinite Earths, infinite versions of himself. Some were dead, some were worse. And beyond them, watching, something else, something vast, something hungry. It had never sent the signal to be discovered. It had sent it to lure them in. The last thing Elias saw before the darkness consumed him was himself, standing on the other side, watching with cold, unfeeling eyes. Then, silence. When the rescue team arrived months later, they found the Daedalus drifting in space, intact but empty, no sign of the crew. The logs were corrupted, except for a single audio file, a voice just layered over itself 1,000 times. "You should not have come. Humanity never sent another mission to the Veil. Some knowledge is not meant to be known. Some doors should never be opened."